Hey, this is Perry Belcher. How are you guys doing? I hope everybody's doing well. This is a preview call for the upcoming AI Bot Summit in Orlando on September the 11th. And I've got Mario Castelli with me right now, who's probably one of the, if not the leading, the sharpest AI offer creator that I know. Mario, I met at an event, a Stefan Georgi event or a Copy Accelerator event. And I saw him speak and I'm like, who the hell is that guy? That guy's really, really, really smart. And got to know him after, and we've had an opportunity to spend a lot of time together. And I think Mario systematically has really figured out how to drive offers using AI. And, like I've said before, this AI Bot Summit is about five big business models you can actually bolt onto your business now or start with AI. But it doesn't matter which one of them you do. No matter what, everything starts with an offer, right, Mario?
Yeah, it's true. And like honestly, we run like an AI powered agency, and like in the last couple of months, I've probably written more winning ads with AI for more diverse group of offers than probably anybody else. Like anything, high ticket, e-com stuff, supplements, like lead gen. We just use
your prompting style is pretty incredible. He's the first guy I ever saw argue with ChatGPT. He'll fight with it, to get a better performance out of it. He yells at it, screams at it. It's pretty crazy.
Sometimes it needs a little positive reinforcement. Sometimes you have to let it know.
Yeah,
who's the boss too.
Yeah. So tell us, kind of give us a little idea of what you're going to talk about there, and maybe a tip or so somebody can use right now, even before they get to the event, so they can see some Mario magic.
Oh yeah, for sure. So like I have some really, really cool research stuff. Like I'm known for being like a sales copy guy, right? Who knows how to sell things, but it's a lot easier when you already know what your market wants to buy and is already pre-sold on, right?
Yeah.
Well, it just turns out that AI is really good at helping you come up with those ideas that don't really need the best sales copy in the world to be sold.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of prompts for coming up with like really compelling offers to help you like find those hidden pain points that when people hear it, it's like they don't have to go through this whole logical process. It's something that when they hear it, they're like, oh, I want that.
Let's give us an example.
So like, I don't want to tease this one too much, but
you don't let all the
I want to show like the whole process for that. But like, I will help you. Like, what I'm going to show people is how to figure out the story that your prospects are telling about themselves, and figure out the story that they want other people to be telling about them. So it's like, and that the great stuff about that is it doesn't really matter what your actual product or service is. What you're really selling is a vehicle for them to get the desired outcome that they want. So, and there's ways to coax that out of AI where you can literally find out the exact outcome that the people want, how they describe that to themselves, how they want other people to view them when they achieve that desired outcome. And then also remove the roadblocks that they don't want to have to get through to get that desired outcome.
Yeah.
So I have like a huge, like, I think it's like 2,200 word prompt that I'm going to walk through at the Bot Summit. That
just 2,200 words, that's all?
People just punch in a few, like maybe they change like 5 to 7 different sentences about the offer. It'll give you better customer research about your pain points, frustrations, goals, desires to anybody that you're trying to sell, to where literally people have taken the same process, like who run other agencies, and they've sold this one thing to clients that this could generate for you in about like 10 minutes to clients for between $3,000 to $10,000. That's how accurate that these buyer profiles are.
I think what people don't get is copywriters. Sean Valser is a good friend of mine, and he wrote the other day that copywriting is dead, but copywriters aren't dead. That the puzzle of how you put words together is pretty much solved, but there'll always be the difference between a great copywriter and a half-ass copywriter is research. It really is knowing the market, and I think you do probably the best job of that at all. I wrote a headline for I was down. The one I still think it's the best headline I ever wrote. I was with Craig Clemens, and he had a service back then called Two Girls Teach Sex, and it was these two girls that he would have them go on and tell guys how to be better lovers, right? And he'd been running the old headline, the old How to Please a Woman Every Time and Make Her Beg for More headline from a astrological love book. And it kind of was getting tired. And I wrote a headline on a napkin and gave it to him. And it was, what will she tell her friends tomorrow about the sex you have tonight?
Right.
And it was just it poked a stick right in this guy's ego, it made him really,
that's super powerful.
it really got to him. But I can see that, like you said that earlier, like how are they describing it and how they want other people to describe themselves? Because people don't understand the power of perceived status, do they?
Right. I mean, a lot of people, like, when they get to base level marketing, like, oh, I'm selling a product. Then it's like, oh, I'm selling the benefit of a product. Then if they go a little deeper, it's like, oh, I'm selling the outcome attached to this product. And then you think you really haven't figured it out when you get to that level, right? You're like, oh, I'm the fucking man. I know how to sell anything. But what they really want to buy is the identity attached to that outcome that they want to achieve.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely correct.
And like, so when I started playing around with prompts in the beginning, like, I was like, oh, there's a lot of power in the identity level stuff, because that's the kind of stuff that you're not going to be able to, like, yeah, copywriters are supposed to do research and they're lazy. But even if you're not lazy and you're like putting the hours in, browsing forums and stuff like that, a lot of the stuff that like the real good stuff that people are, that you need to sell them, isn't stuff that they're really going to be so comfortably admitting, right?
Right.
It's like, so what you need to be able to do is get AI to, because AI doesn't really give a shit what you think about it. It has no fear of being judged. You put AI in that lens where you get it to start admitting things that other people wouldn't admit publicly. And that's how you get to the really good stuff, to where you can like massage your offers to where it's like, holy shit.
I came up with a lot of good stories in the past. You might try this sometime. You listeners on here could try it. When I'm addressing a problem, when I'm addressing some challenge people have, it doesn't work as with a goal, but when I'm addressing a problem, I've got this thing I call the so bad rule. So I'll go on to Google and I'll Google eczema so bad in quotations and then forums. Right. So I only want to look that up in forums. And man, you'll find stories that are, I had dry skin so bad that blank. And the stories you'll find will just be horror stories you couldn't possibly make up. They're really incredible. But you're right. But that identity, like you said, I think you're right. People do forget that. I think, and that primal benefit, what is that? Not just what are the benefits, but what are the primal benefits? What are the, food, shelter, water benefits? Because we're still just this far evolved from cavemen, right? So I'm sure.
One thing I really like about AI, like when I teach people AI related stuff, I usually show you like the lazy way and the optimized way. And I know that most people are going to gravitate towards the lazy way all the time, right? So my goal is to make the lazy way good enough to where it's going to get you better results than anything you would do on your own. But if you're willing to put that little bit of extra work in and do the optimized way, like you can get even better results with like just a fraction of manual labor that people don't want to do. And like you said, like you can really find a gold mine on the forums or through like looking through Amazon purchase comments. Like if you look through,
I do that all the time. I always look at the negative comments. Always
frustrations.
I like the negative feedback.
Yeah, and just because AI is here doesn't mean that any of that shit goes away. Right. So what I can show you guys, like you've seen how I structure my prompts. I'm very example based. I love showing. I don't like to give the AI the freedom to decide what's a good idea or a bad idea, or what's a good example and what's a bad example, because that's how you leave things up to chance, and then you're relying on this non-thinking entity to decide what's good or bad for you. But if you give it, it's really good at recognizing patterns though. So if you control the kind of patterns that you give it, if you find 10 examples of really compelling horror stories from forums, and then you say, oh, these are really compelling stories. This is why this story was, it really hit at that core of this market. Here's why this story hit at the core of this market. Here's why this story hit at the core of this market. And you feed it 10, 15 examples that are exactly what like you identify as a good story. Then you could just hit that fucking little generate button and have it write new stories for you based on those ideas, or iterate off those stories.
Yeah. It's crazy how fast you can write copy now once you get through the research process. The research process has been sped up a lot. The writing process is easy, but research has taken me, there's a lot of times I've spent a week researching a project, but then you can usually write it in a day. At
Oh
least
yeah,
I can,
yeah.
or a few hours. If once I've spent the time, once I've grabbed that hook, I read a thing the other day about Aaron Sorkin, the screenwriter,
Yeah.
and I think he's the greatest screenwriter probably alive today. He wrote A Few Good Men and The Newsroom and Molly's Game and
Yep.
all
Molly's
those.
Game is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. And but he starts out all of his stories, he'll spend weeks or even a month or more deciding how the story is going to end.
Yep.
It's really interesting. He decides the end of the story. And when he figures out how it's going to end, then he starts writing from the beginning and fills in
Nice.
the middle. So really an interesting way of writing. And I think that it's why all of his stories are really congruent and they narrow back into everything. Everything that he writes through the story works to form the end, right? So I think that there's a big lesson there, but I can't wait to see what you got for them out there. I know you're going to be exciting, and you guys, you will be blown away by Mario. Mario's like one of the smartest guys I've ever met, one of the best copywriters and researchers I've found anywhere. And I think in a world where copywriters are old farts like me, it's really good to see a new generation of copywriter come up that really knows what they're doing and is so generous to share what he does with folks. Because you're meeting Mario, you're meeting a current great, but a real future great. So I think that he's going to be around this industry for a really long time, and it's a great. I'm glad you guys are going to get exposed to him. I think it's going to be fun, and I can't wait.
I'm excited. I was just telling you one more thing. So like, the stuff I'm going to share is like, I have really good research stuff, offer generation stuff, all that like groundwork that's going to save you tons of time on making sure that what you actually decide to sell has the best possible chance of selling. But then I'm also going to give you guys some little shortcuts and tips and tricks for actually selling the damn thing. Because I have like a lot of really good like ad templates that I built out that are actively beating cold traffic controls right now for some of the biggest companies online. I have emails that are proven to work in multiple niches that I'm just going to give to you guys. You literally change a few lines and it will literally rewrite the thing for your product or your service. And I've had these things work in anything from like supplements, e-com, high ticket, lead gen, pet care, golf. I beat a control for a golf ad for one of the biggest media buyers out there. I've never played a round of golf in my life. But when I just ran the thing through the prompts, like it literally spit out better golf copy than I can physically write myself. And I think I'm a pretty good copywriter. This thing like worked better. I never would have been able to do that manually.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to give you guys like the groundwork, the shortcuts. So you have really good offers, then give you guys like some of the templates and the shortcuts that you can use AI for to get like winning copy right away. I have a crazy headline generator that's going to give you guys amazing headlines in like 3 or 4 clicks and as many clicks as you want. And I also have ad hook generator. This is like probably one of the best thing I ever built out. It's built on like dozens of examples of winning ads, and it will literally spit out 20 crazy, compelling, like unskippable ad hooks for you in a couple seconds and give you suggested visuals for how you'd want to start that ad. I showed this to the V-Shred media buying team. They're doing like $200 million a year. They were blown away by it, like how much time it's going to save them. Because they literally just, like every time you hit the button, it spits out 20 different ads for you. So you just hit regenerate a couple times. Even if you only get like 2 or 3 promising new ad ideas from each batch, like you hit the thing 10 times, you spend about 4 minutes, you have a month's worth of ads to go shoot that are like really primed to work well. So
we've taken some of Mario's stuff from the last time I saw him and applied it to like businesses where we sell $25,000 a year client value, and it's really worked well. So most of his stuff is designed for mass offers, mass market offers, but it's definitely transferable to B2B offers, high ticket offers. I think let's just hope he doesn't get hit by a bus on the way to Florida, because I think you guys are in for a real treat with Mario Castelli at AI Bot Summit. If you haven't got tickets yet, go to aibotsummit.com, get your tickets while you still can. We always sell out a few days before the thing. Everybody waits to the last minute and then we sell out. Everybody's mad they didn't get in. If you're already in, be sure to be in Mario's session early. Get your notepad ready because you're going to burn up some pens and pencils during this one. I can't wait for it. Mario, I look forward to seeing you in Florida. As always, buddy. Thanks for coming. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right, cool.